He's the entertainment industry's award-winning and leading film critic, and founder of his own film festival. Please welcome Leonard Maltin.
It's an accomplishment just getting on this podium. Hello, everybody. When you say the name Barbara Eden to anybody who's been on this planet for any length of time, I defy you not to smile, because that's what she promotes, I think, in our consciousness, in our collective consciousness. And I'm not just talking about I Dream of Jeannie. I'm talking about, I was a fan of How to Marry a Millionaire, the first TV series that you did. And I was young, but I was an avid viewer. And 5 Weeks in a Balloon, and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and you worked with George Powell a couple of times, The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm, and Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe with Tony Randall. She's in a lot of movies, as well as TV shows. And she came along just after the first wave of the Hollywood studio system, the 30s and 40s, when the contract players were groomed to be stars. But she was here for the second wave, which was the television era. So if you're channel surfing and you come upon a Perry Mason episode, yes, that's her. Or Wagon Train, yes, that's her. She did a lot of that work before she became a star in her own series. And as I say, I think what she's given us all is a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness. And it continues to this day, because these shows, especially, of course, I Dream of Jeannie, are still fun. They're innocent fun. I think kids today can relate to them just as easily as anyone did when they were made so many years ago. And that's why her fame endures. And of course, a long time ago, she tripped and fell into the fountain of youth. So that doesn't hurt either. And so I'm very, very happy and proud to be part of this tribute to Barbara Eden. Thank you.
Please welcome one of America's favorite Happy Days stars, Anson Williams.
He's in the parking lot. Go to the next one.
Let's bring Donelle back to the stage. Donelle, can you help us?
Oh, someone took my apple box. We're not joking. Anyway, short of doing a soft shoe, let me also introduce some more of the famous entertainers who are here this evening to help celebrate the tribute to you, Barbara, this evening. Everybody loves you. And let's start off with Jerry Jewell, who's been seen recently in Deadwood and years ago in Facts of Life. Alice Sanford from The Big Bang Theory. Judy Tenuta, we all know her as America's Family. Erin Murphy, Tabitha from Big Bang. Allison Andren, Nasty Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie. Kathy Garber and Johnny Whitaker from Family Affair. Eileen Graff from Mr. Belvedere. Oh, yeah. And Brendan Stennis from Young and Restless and Casey Undercover. Have they had time to park the car yet, or shall I do some more?
Did you do some stand-up? He says he's coming in.
Well, let me take this moment. Steve will go out of order, but I'll take this moment and introduce our young Hollywood celebrities in the making that are here tonight to celebrate you, Barbara, and to celebrate Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie. So we have Connor Dean from Cool Cats. Connor, I saw you a moment ago. Jax Malcolm from CW Network's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Patty Negri from The Good Witch. Rochelle Royale from Heavenly Kingdom. And Tracy Weezer from The Neighbors. Welcome. So while waiting for Anson, let me just say, Miss Eden, we are thrilled to have you here this evening. What you are about to present the museum represents not only the iconic character that you portrayed, but represents so much in culture. You know, to think in the 1960s and what was considered to be exciting during the beginning of the sexual revolution and where we are today. And we thank you so much because this costume, we will have so much fun sharing all the stories that you are going to tell us, and others will tell us, of young school children who come in to visit us this year. We thank you so much, and of course the iconic where you blink and you wink, and I can't do it, but you do it great. It makes all the difference in the world. So I believe Anson is coming in momentarily.
Yes.
Arlindo Dragon.
According to this, I'm right here. There he is.
Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen,
So I'd like to have your attention, even though I know you all would really like for me to continue and ad-lib. Anson Williams is here. Thank you, Anson.
Oh, back here. I'm sorry. Oh!
You can stand on my apple box.
I have to talk. Jeez. It's like, hi, Barbara.
Hi.
I gotta tell you, no, I'm here. I'm so upset with you. You made my life miserable. I can't tell you how mad I am. First movie of the week I ever directed. Your Mother Wears Combat Boots. I'm scared to death. And who's starring it? The #1 actress at NBC, Barbara Eden. I'm going, oh man, I don't know what to expect. But we're out there in Georgia at Fort Benning. Not the most comfortable conditions. I mean, literally an army base. And there we are, and I'm going, okay. And who do I meet? Barbara Eden. The most talented, kindest, collaborative, wonderful, talented person in the world. She made the crew feel good. She made the soldiers feel good. She was amazing to work with. And it just killed me because I thought every other film would be the same. And it wasn't. You're one of a kind. And no, I did not have that experience again. But God bless. And not only do you light up the world, you light up the hearts of everyone you meet, and you sure light up my heart. God bless you. Love you.
please welcome award-winning film legend who has starred in such movies as Bugsy, MASH, and Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 8, among many others. Please welcome Mr. Elliott Gould.
Well, the first film that I was cast in was a film that Barbara also appeared in. It was called The Confession. And now on late night television, it's called Quick, Let's Get Married. It was directed by a man by the name of William Dieterle, who had directed Charles Lawton as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Betty Davis in Juarez, and Paul Muni in The Life of Louis Pasteur. And we were in this picture. I played a deaf mute by the name of Alessandro, and had no experience whatsoever. Ginger Rogers and Ray Milland were starring in the picture. And in my first shot, I was supposed to be drunk. And remember, I'm a deaf mute. And we were supposed to be pushing Ray Milland around. So I thought, I'm going to be like a method actor, and I'm going to pretend to be drunk. And a man behind the camera, an older man, said, cut, came up to the camera and the director and pointed to me and said, he's breathing too loud. I thought, how will I ever learn to act? I don't know how to breathe. Then years later, we did Out to Lunch with the Electric Company, the Children's Television Workshop, Sesame Street, as a primetime special. And we both were on it. And we had a wonderful cast. And it's just such a privilege to be here and reminisce with you and everyone here. And thank you for everything.
Please welcome Donelle Dadigan.
Well, I'm back again. Hi. And I was just busy chit-chatting with Anson, telling him, thank you. Donnie, where are you? So all of you, we chit-chatted about so many people, but you know, Don has a career in singing, and I don't know if you know that or not, but we're really thrilled to have you, Don. And I want to thank you so much for making the time to come here this evening and to do that for us. Okay, next.
Welcome the star of WKRP in Cincinnati, Loni Anderson.
Thank you. Wow. The bombshell is sitting in the front row. She is the most beautiful, glamorous, perfect. Her outside doesn't even compare to the inside. She's been my friend for so many years. We started out, we did a Bob Hope special together. We did several Bob Hope specials together. But you know how in life you just meet that person and you just really hit it off with them and you want to be with them all the time? Well, that's the way I felt about Barbara. So we've been friends for decades. And we even followed one another in productions. We did the Kenley Circuit, which was a musical theater in the Midwest. She was doing the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I followed in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which she had already done. And I went to see her rehearsing. And she was rehearsing for Best Little Whorehouse in a bare midriff outfit. And my jaw just dropped because she looks exactly the same way. And I just couldn't get over that she was showing off her little waist when the rest of us were trying to hide ours. And it was so amazing. So in our friendship over the years, I'd always say, you know, nobody has that midriff but you. And of course, you had to keep it kind of hidden. And when she first started the show, you had to wear something in your belly button because that was forbidden, wasn't it? Yeah. And so, but I have to tell you a fun story about us one Halloween. I had a Halloween party at my house with, like, grown-ups coming in costume. I don't know how much you could say about us being grown-ups, but anyway, so Barbara comes, and we were just awestruck. She came in her genie costume. Oh my God. I mean, decades later, she's wearing the costume. It still fits. What we did is we went out and we trick-or-treated around the whole neighborhood just so people could see her, and people went completely crazy. Not just children, but men were just falling all over themselves. Because there she was in that body. I always tease her about having it under all of her clothing. I think it's under there right now. That she's like Superman. At any moment, she just goes. And then she's in her genie costume. But I just want to say how much I appreciate the beauty of our friendship for all of these years. And you inspire me because even though you've never rested on your celebrity, you keep working, you keep acting, you keep doing what you love, and that inspires everyone. I love you.
Please welcome one of America's favorite game show hosts from Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall.
Thank you very much. I guess I am Peter Marshall, and I used to be in show business. You know, you do things in this business, and you forget. I'm here to talk about her film career, which you don't believe how many films this young lady has done. But you've become such an iconic person in television, you forget that she had a career in theater and in motion pictures. In fact, she still does theater a lot. Hal Linden's a buddy of mine, and they go out and they do love letters all over the country. And in fact, they just came back from a tour. So I went through these the films. I can't believe who you've worked with over the years. Elvis Presley. Yes, the movie was called Flaming Star. I don't recall that. You say he was such a gentleman, loved working with him. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. That I remember. Walter Pitcher, Peter Lorre. How about them apples? Joan Fontaine, Frankie Avalon, and wonderful guys I used to play a lot of golf with. Bob Sterling. The Faces of Dr. Is it Lau? No. That was with a guy who was a regular on my show, the adorable Tony Randall. 5 weeks in a balloon with red buttons. Does not sound like fun. All hands on deck with Pat Boone, and you gave him his first screen kiss, didn't you? Yes, okay. I don't know if this is true. I just read all this stuff. From the Terrace with Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward and Myrna Loy and Patrick O'Neill. We go on and on. The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm. Listen to this cast: Lawrence Harvey, Claire Bloom, Russ Tamblyn, Jim Backus, Buddy Hackett, Yvette Mignon, Walter Slezak, and of course Harper Valley PTA, which is my buddy Annette Fabre. Anyway, I have probably known Barbara longer than almost anybody here this evening, and I'll tell you the story. In 1959, I was part of a comedy team, Tommy Noonan and Pete Marshall. And we were quite popular, and we did a motion picture at Fox called The Rookie. And it cost $159,000 to do this film. Now in 1959, the studio was in trouble, and the head of the studio, Buddy Adler, I think that was his name, he said, I don't know this, Pete, but your little picture kept this the studio open for a year because of Cleopatra, and they were selling off the thing. So we had another picture to do, and it was called, what the hell was it called? Swinging Along. And it was a script by the Epsteins, and it was not a very good script by the Epsteins. But we were contracted to do it, so we did this film, and I met this young studio. She was under contract. There was nobody at the studio, by the way. I grew up at Fox with Dick Hames and my sister Joanne Drew, and so there was one series called Adventures in Paradise, and Jerry Wall, the producer, had an office there. So you go to the commissary, there'd be 8 people. Anyway, I met this young lady, and her name was Barbara Eden. And we have been friends ever since. In fact, I have a poster somebody sent me. Here we are, 1960. My God, I was cute.
You still are.
Anyway, I thought it might be fun to put this online. I'm going to have you sign it, and I'll sign it. And I thought maybe Karen Cadle, she said that she would put it online and auction it off, and all the monies would go to actors and others for animals, and it would be remembered by your wonderful Kingston, your beautiful Labradoodle. Yes. Before I go, just one other thing. She did this series with 2 of the craziest people I ever knew in my entire life. How she put up with them. How many years did you do Bewitched?
5.
5 years with Larry Hagman and Bill Daly. Let me tell you, these were good buddies of mine, and I loved them, and they were really talented, but they basically were nuts. They really were. Bill Daly, I don't know if you know this, was a wonderful writer, and he wrote a wonderful play called Lover's Leap that I did for many weeks in Vegas, and he was always pissed off at me because he didn't get the lead. And so he would come every weekend, and it was revisions and new directions. And finally, they barred him from the hotel. Hagman, on the other, I did 2 motion pictures with Hagman. And this was when he was drinking. We did a picture in Acapulco called Ensign Pulver. It was the sequel to Mr. Roberts, and we were all drinking actually, and we did it, as I said, I roomed with Hagman, Dick Gaudier, and Jack Nicholson. And as I recall, I don't recall much, but as I recall, it was a wonderful time. Then he got me a part of the picture that we did, a terrific picture, called, what the hell was it called? What was it called? Laurie, what was the picture I did in Yugoslavia? The Cavern. And it was directed by Edgar Ulmer, a wonderful beat picture guy. He did Detour. And we shot it in Yugoslavia, Trieste, and in Rome. And it took us about 6 months. If you ever have a chance, watch it. It's really good. And but Edgar Ulmer and Larry hated each other. But I remember saving Edgar Ulmer's life because I stopped Larry from throwing him out of a window on the 3rd floor. Anyway, how you put up with those crazies, I will never know. But we have been friends for a long time. And my Laurie and myself, and you and your John over there, we love you so very, very much. Happy birthday and congratulations on this evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the woman of the hour, the star of I Dream of Jeannie herself, Miss Barbara Eden.
You mean I have to talk also? Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I know my sister's here somewhere. Where are you, Alice? Haven't seen much of you. And thank all of you, all my dear friends. My gosh, I am blessed. I truly am blessed. You know, there isn't much about me that people don't know. So there isn't a lot I can tell you, except that one of the questions everybody's asked me is, how did you get the job? How were you cast as Jeannie? And I'll tell you the story. You may know it, but I'll tell you anyway. I had been reading the Variety and the Hollywood Reporter about this script and the wonderful story. And they were testing all those gorgeous brunettes in town. I mean, they were all beauty contest winners. 6 foot tall, dark hair, great bodies. And I thought, well, that leaves me out, you know. About a week later, I received a script. And I looked at it. And I thought, gee, is this what I think it is? And my agent called me and said, do you like the script? I said, I love it. I love it. But are you sure they know what I look like? You know, with a short blonde. And, you know. And he said, well, I guess they do because they made an offer. So, but I had to have tea. Drink tea with Sidney Sheldon, who was the man who wrote it and produced it. And I went down to the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I had tea with Sidney. And the rest was history. He gave me the part. And Larry Hagman was someone that they just wanted so badly. He was so talented. I didn't know him, but I was called, and they said, will you work with him because they're going to test him? And I said, sure, I will, but I'm working. They said, well, he'll come over. You know, I was at Universal. I don't remember what I was doing. But I said, okay. So Larry came to Universal and went to my dressing room. And I had the script and I knew the scene that we were going to do. And I played it full out. And you know Jeannie. Oh, master! Scared the living daylights out of him. He was so frightened. I sort of knew it, but later he told me, he said, you know, I didn't know about that part where you were, thought you were a nut or something. I was. But again, thank you so much for coming. Oh gosh, I see people I haven't seen in years and years and years, and it just warms my heart. You know, that picture with Ginger Rogers that you talked about. You may have played a drunk, deaf mute, but I was a prostitute who had a cross around her neck, had never been to bed with a man. Can you believe that? I mean, it was the strangest movie I've ever done. But we had a good time, and we did a lot of shopping. We got all my China on that. We were in Caribbean. Jamaica. Oh, that's right, Jamaica. God. Oh my, that was wonderful. So good to see you. I'm so happy to see all of you. Thank you so much for coming.
Donelle Dadigan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to unveil the iconic I Dream of Jeannie costume with Miss Barbara Eden, as well as the I Dream of Jeannie bottle.
Can you guys clear that poach? Barbara, you know you're doing it now, right? Yeah, that'd be great, actually. You get her between the knees.
Actually, on that side.
You want to
Right there. Right here.
Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Light killing us. Oh my God, what an honor.
Isn't this fantastic?
Yes, it is.
It's a jelly spoon.
Tell us when.
Harlan, I'm going to do the cake here.
Drop it, Barbara, drop
Is there
it.
anybody taller? Get the other one. There you go.
You got it. Good. Okay, I got it. No, bring it right here.
And Miss Eden right here.
Okay, let's go. Hey guys, 1 second.
I got it. I need this too.